We'll chant Om 3 times, followed by the invocation shlokas. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vedvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. And as we are chanting, as we are studying Upadesha Sara, we will chant the Mangalacharanam for Upadesha Sara. It is in chat window, so please one of you go off mute and repeat after me. अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधूततिमिरम्
अन्तर्यश्च बहिर्विधुतिमिरम्
ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतम्
ज्योतिर्मयं शाश्वतम्
स्थानं प्राप्य विराजते विनमताम्
स्थानं प्राप्य विराजिते विनमताम्
अज्ञानमुन्मूलयन्
अज्ञानम् उन्मूलयन्
पश्यन् विश्वमपीदमुल्लसति यो
पश्यन् विश्वम् अपि इदम् उल्लसति यो
विश्वस्य पारे परः
विश्वस्य पारे परः
तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरवे
तस्मै श्रीरमणाय लोकगुरुवे
शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः.
शोकस्य हन्त्रे नमः.
We are almost coming close to the conclusion of Upadesha Sara. In fact, we have 4 more shlokas to go. Probably we'll be completing by next week. Now, what is the flow of thought that we are seeing in for past couple of weeks is that when I'm doing Atma Vichara, once the thought comes, who I really am, who is this I that is there in every thought of me? What is this aham vritti? That aham vritti will fall off. When that aham vritti fall off, that is when my real aham will shine forth. And this aham, the real aham that shines forth is, because it is real, it is parama, it is complete, purna, and it is sat. And this sat, because it is not going to fall off, or it like aham vritti goes to sleep, aham vritti dreams, aham vritti is awake, all of that, right? So whereas this real aham, the real aham is being referred referring to Atma, that is one Atma, that is all pervasive Atma. Because of that is something that praiseworthy. That, okay. So that aham is never going to fall off. And understand that vigrahendriya pranadhitamaha naham eka sat tat jadam hi asat. So other than aham, all the panchakoshas, vigraha is referring to Annamaya kosha, indriyas are referring to manomaya kosha, pranas are referring to pranamaya, dhi is referring to vijnanamaya kosha, and tamas is referring to anandamaya kosha. All of them are na aham, because they are all jadam. And because they are all jadam, they are asat. And what is sat? Aham alone is sat. Now when this sat, sattva bhasika chitvakatara. So this sat is not different from chit, our consciousness, because sattaya hi chit, and the chit taya hi aham. So that sat alone is chit, that chit alone is aham. And once you understand that my true nature is Atma, okay, now Bhagavan shows, Mahashiji shows that we alone are Brahman. He said, Isha Jayavayor Veshadhi Bhidha Sat Swabhavato Vastu Kevalam. From external appearances perspective, Isha and Jiva are different. Okay? Now, Isha, because when we think about Isha, Ishvara is what you call, like, he is Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, right? All of those. Maya is under the control of Ishvara, whereas I am Alpajna, means I know very little. I am Alpa Shaktiman, I don't have very little power. And whereas Ishvara has Maya under control, as Jiva, I am under the control of Maya. So all of these differences are there. But all these differences are at the level of Upadhi. Because these differences are at level of Upadhi, once you remove Upadhi, the inside material is one and the same. The essence, core essence is one and the same. So what Bhagavan says is that Isha Jivayor Veshati Bhida Satsvabhavato Vastu Kevalam. So it is as if the same thing is wearing two different costumes and is appearing as two different things, one as Ishvara and other as Jiva. But once the costumes is removed, because costume doesn't belong to me. Okay. Today, I'm wearing a white shirt. It doesn't mean that white shirt is me. Because tomorrow I can be wearing a yellow shirt or a red shirt or a green shirt. So that doesn't, what shirt I wear doesn't make me. Okay. So it is just an accessory. So in the same way, these costumes, these upadhis, for a jiva, what are the upadhis? Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karna Sharira, that is our physical body, subtle body, and causal body are our upadhis, and that are our customs. Because sometimes we mistakenly identify with our upadhis. Say, for example, like in this meeting alone, right? If you say, who is the one with white shirt? Right? Oh, Venkat is the one with white shirt. Okay. So it doesn't mean that white shirt doesn't define Venkat, or Venkat is not defined by white shirt. Okay. But it makes people appear differently. And whereas at a jiva level, we talked about stula, sukshma, karana, shariras, right? So those are individual upadhis. So your individual upadhi is different from my individual upadhi. Then what is the upadhi of Ishvara? Stula prapancha, sukshma prapancha, and karna prapancha. It is at the cosmic level. So why our upadhis are at micro level, Ishvara's upadhis are at cosmic level or macro level. And so then what he says is that reality Sat Swabhavataha Vastu Kevalam. That is said. Now, that once that is said, right? Veshahanataha Swa Atma Darshanam. When you remove this Vesha, when this costume is removed, the reality is revealed. And that reality is what? Swa Atma Darshanam. My own true vision of my own true nature. Now, this, and then and then he says, Isha Darshanam Swa Atma Rupatha. So this Isha Darshanam is not different from your Atma Darshanam. Now, but sometimes what happens is that, especially like when our it's like okay, right off the bat, we are not there yet, but there are some great devotees and they want to see Ishvara. Okay, Bhagwan. I want to see Lord Rama. I want to have the darshan of Rama. I want to have the darshan of Lord Krishna or Shiva, like that, right? So that is there. So what can be done for this Ishvara darshana? Now, from Vedanta perspective, there's only one reality. Whether you call it as Atma or whether we call it as Brahman, there's only one. Hmm. So that to go to that understanding of that reality, having to experience that reality, we must go beyond all upadhis. Now, can I, if Jiva and Ishvara are one and the same, can I transcend the upadhi of Ishvara? This is the question. Transcend the upadhis of Ishvara means, can I, like say for example, if you're doing a meditation, okay, you can transcend your own Jiva upadhis, meaning, so for example, you sit and say that this body is not me. And then you can analyze also. This body came from the food that I have eaten. This physical body has grown because of the food that I've eaten. So the food that was outside of my body came into my body and transformed this body. And then also a lot of the food that I ate also left the body. Okay. So hence this body cannot be me. Like that, I can transcend my physical body. I can transcend, meaning transcending my physical body means what? This Vesha is said, right? Costume. So the Stula Vesha, meaning the costume at physical layer can be tossed away. Just like I can easily unbutton my shirt and toss it away. Okay. In the same way, I can toss away my physical body also, meaning from an understanding perspective. Then I can also transcend a little bit of my mind and intellect, etc. Okay. And then, but when it comes to Ishvara, how can I transcend Ishvara's upadhi? Because when I look outside, what I'm looking at the physical prapancha, okay, the physical world. Because I'm looking at the physical world, whatever I see is that sthula vesha, meaning the physical costume of Ishvara. Now, somehow, if I'm able to transcend my senses and use my mind, whatever I capture with my mind is again Ishvara's subtle vesha or subtle upadhi or sukshma prapancha. So then again, I'm still stuck with Ishvara with sukshma vesha or sukshma prapancha. So this way, if I try, the vision of reality is actually colored by my senses, meaning my indriyas, my mind, and intellect. And because of that, going beyond transcending Ishvara, I mean like a room, going beyond those costumes of Ishvara is going to be little bit more difficult. So that is why Ramana Maharshi ji, or even like in any of our scriptures, okay, they all recommend that we try to transcend our own upadhis. Okay. So, for example, like even in Bhagavad Gita, we say Bhagavad Gita has talks about Tattvamasi Mahavakya. So, if you see Tattvamasi, what is the first word in there? Tat. Tat means that. Then Tvam, you. And Asi is same. Now, if Bhagavad Gita we say each set of 6 chapters are referring to one of these words. Now, first set of 6 chapters should belong to Tat. Instead, it belongs to Tvam. Why? Because it is easy to understand my own nature first. Once I understand my own nature, I can understand this world. Okay, that is the idea. So that is why even here, you try to transcend your senses, your mind and intellect. And then once you get the Atma Darshana, okay, then that Atma Darshana alone is Ishvara Darshana also. That is what Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi ji is saying. Now here, what happens is that in Vedanta, these words like darshana, because darshana means what? Vision. Vision means what? Somehow I can see Bhagwan. Then I said, oh, no, 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 it is not. You cannot really see, but it is experience. So experience means that I can experience through my mind. I can understand through my intellect. So all of these are not true in reality. Why? Because Paramatma is Nirguna Nirakara. That means that beyond all gunas and beyond all forms. Now, anything and everything I see in this world is made up of gunas. Why? Because Prakriti, we say that Prakriti, the nature, is made up of these 3 gunas only, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So, anything in this world that I see, whether it is a wall or a book or a tree or a human being or a cow or a donkey or a plant, whatever I see is made up of these Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas only. Even the thoughts that I have are also of Prakriti, so they are also made up of Sattva, Rajas, Tamo guna only. When I say that Brahman is Nirguna, which is beyond all these 3 gunas, what is happening? Brahman is beyond our capability to understand, to visualize. Because from eyes, I cannot visualize, because whatever I can see or I can imagine through my eyes, all of that is Prakriti only, which is based upon these 3 gunas only. Anything I can think about is also based upon these 3 gunas only. Anything I can conceptualize or understand or whatever, that is all based on these 3 gunas only. So this nirguna, meaning like beyond these 3 gunas, and nirakara, beyond all these forms, is something that is very difficult to, it is, comprehension is not possible, period. Okay. But there's a teacher and there's a student. And the teacher is teaching this knowledge to the student, and somehow the student is understanding. So that's why in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, it Ascharyavat Paschati Kaschidena, like that is a shloka. Because it is a wonder how this transfer of knowledge happens. But the key factor is that when you see these words, that it is Sat, Chit, Ananda, or Satyam, Anantam, Jnanam, or Darshana, Brahma, Atma, Nishta, Anubhuti, all of these words in Vedanta, they are like our teacher, our Swami Advainandaji, used a interesting thing. You open an atlas. In atlas, do you see the map of India? Yes, I do see it. Do you see Mumbai? Yes, I see Mumbai. Do you see Delhi? Yes, I do. Is that really Mumbai? No. Is that really Delhi? No. It is just a name printed on a paper in a book. This is not capturing the essence of the Delhi or Mumbai in any manner. What the word Delhi there or the word Mumbai is there is signifying something else, which is far bigger and far more di- diverse and beyond your imagination, which you cannot really understand if you're just looking at the map of Delhi. But that said, that map of Delhi, that map of Mumbai is certainly helpful. So these, all the words that we study in Vedanta are like those words in that atlas. Okay. They give so we need to go beyond the literary meaning of these individual words and go to the lakshartha or the intended or indicated meaning. Okay. So this intended or indicated meaning can be understood with under two conditions. One is we have a proper guru. Okay. And second is that we meditate on these words. Okay, so this is how we can understand. So I'll pause here to see if you have any questions before we move to the next shloka. Then we'll
So how you are saying that we should understand then? That's going to come in next sloka or what?
no, this is because it is not coming in next shloka or something. It is more like what happened is that Atma Darshana is there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Darshana means what? See, you went to temple and like you came back from India and told me, Venkat, I went to Tirupati. So what would be my first question? Did you have good darshan there? Right? When I
Yeah.
say, did you have good darshan? What does it mean? That I went there, I stood in line for I don't know how many hours, and then I went in front of that murti and I did my namaskara. I saw that murti. That is the darshana. So here, this darshana is not like that darshana. I mean, this Atma is not coming in front of us and showing itself to us. Or it is not like Bhagwan is coming and showing himself in front of us like we see in movies or TV serials. That's one. Okay? Now, then we say that, oh, I cannot see, but I can experience. No, you cannot experience. What do you mean by I cannot experience? You cannot experience because experience means it is something a experience in that happens in mind and intellect. And this truth is beyond mind and intellect. Okay. So then it means that you're making up stuff. Okay. If something that cannot be experienced by by mind and intellect, or it cannot be seen, how can you say that it exists? Okay. So for that, Vedanta says simple thing is that you close your eyes, you shut down your mind, and you still know who you are. You may not know the name, but you as you exist, I am existing. Okay. and I'm aware of my existence. That understanding is there, and for that understanding, you don't require any mind or any thoughts or any uh, sense organs. Okay, so that basic core thing is beyond mind, beyond intellect, and beyond indriya.
Sense organ.
Okay, so this experience. Do So because mind and intellect are not there, but you still know that you are there. Okay. So that is why this is something beyond all of those three. That is what it says. And this kind of experience is different from experiencing like yesterday I went to Patel Brothers and bought meat pan ice cream, and I tasted it and I experienced the taste. These two are different.
Okay. So can we take it like in the mind and intellect denotes only the objects, whereas aham is a subjective experience.
Aham, yes. So aham, again, not aham vritti, but atma.
Aham as atma. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is subject. Yeah. And now, see, the thing is that how subject experiencing itself is something.
Yeah, it's like yeah, we cannot say that
Now,
either.
simple example is right. You taste every taste through your mouth. I mean, through your tongue. Yes. Okay. You can say like you may. I may give you a cup of coffee and you say, this is a little bit bitter, or this is a little bit sweet, or this is like too much milk, too little milk, egg perfect, right? Whatever, right? So you can taste everything that is put in your mouth. But what is the taste of the tongue?
Can't say anything.
So now that instrument, that tongue which tastes everything else cannot taste itself. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this, if you are looking at a subjective experience, I mean like an objective experience of my true nature, it is not possible. It is a subjective experience, as you mentioned. So that is why in Vedanta, it is called as aparokshanubhuti. Okay. Why is it called aparokshanubhuti? What is so first of all, like what are you talking about? Like, you threw a big word. Okay. Anubhuti means experience. Pratyaksha means
Direct.
my direct
My
experience.
sense experience,
Yeah. Right.
sensory.
Yeah. So aksha actually means eyes. Pratyaksha means by my own eyes. Okay. Now, opposite of pratyaksha is paroksha. So for example, like I haven't seen. So if I have seen today, I went out and I saw rain. There is a rain. Okay. And I saw that there's a rain and there's like a little bit, little bit of flooding here and there. All of that I have seen. That is my pratyaksha experience. But somehow I was busy with something at home and I didn't even open my windows and I'm like totally cooped up in my room. And my wife comes and tells, oh, there was so much rain, etc. And she describes, and I understood, and I trust her. Okay. So, and what happened is that is para aksha. Para aksha is others' eyes. Para and aksha together becomes paroksha. Okay. So there is paroksha experience, meaning my eyes did not see, someone else's eyes have seen, and that I heard through it. So that is paroksha. So pratyaksha is my direct personal experience. Paroksha is indirect experience. Now, aparoksha. Aparoksha means non-indirect experience. Okay? Why can't you say pratyaksha? Because it is not direct experience. But it is neither paroksha either. It is not indirect experience either. It is non-indirect experience, meaning it is beyond experience. I mean, like you can experience it, yes, but that doesn't uh, that experience is outside the realm of typical indriyas. Okay. When we're talking about indriyas now, we're not just talking about jnanendriyas, the five jnanendriyas, but also antakarana, the mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankara, mind, intellect, and ahankara, etc. Right? It is beyond all of those also. That is why your aparokshanubhuti, that experience is, I mean, like experiencing Brahman or experiencing Atma is called as aparokshanubhuti, and that is what leads to Jivan Mukti. Okay?
Yeah.
So let us chant the next shloka. I'll break down the words. Okay? First, actually, Jnanavajjita Jnanahina Chit. Jnanamaste kim Jnana Jnatumantaram. So here, the first line, Jnanavajjita Jnanahina Chit, is got Jnana Varjita Ajnana Hina Chit. Okay? Five pieces are there, five components are there in this word. Jnana Varjita Ajnana Hina Chit. Jnanam asti, it is made up of two parts. Okay, it has two parts. Jnanam and asti. Kin is one. Jnatum antaram, it has two parts. Jnatum and antaram. Okay. So one of you please repeat after me. Jnanavajjita jnanahina chet.
Jnanavartvita ajnanahina chit.
Jnanamaste kim jnatumantaram.
Jnanamasti kim jnatumat antaram.
Jnatumantaram. Okay. So now see that what is this Atma Darshana? That is what is little bit description is given. Okay. Jnana is knowledge. Okay. Varjita means devoid of knowledge. Okay. And Ajnana is ignorance. Hina also devoid of. Okay. So this chit, the chit or the consciousness is devoid of knowledge and devoid of ignorance. Okay. See, what you say is that I experience everything because of Chaitanya, consciousness that we said. Now here, there is a, what you call like a, something comes out of, in US we say, something from the left field, or maybe like in Indian cricket, they say there's a googly ball. Okay. So, what is this? This is that this jnanam, okay, this ultimate knowledge is free of not only ignorance, but it's also free of knowledge. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Okay. So actually, let us see the second part also, and then we will discuss this. Jnatum antaram kim asti? Okay. Jnanam asti kim jnatum antaram. So jnatum means to know. Okay. Jnanam is knowledge. Okay. Jnatum is to know. Antaram, difference. What is the difference between knowledge and the ability to learn knowledge, or the knower? Okay. What is the difference between the knower and the knowledge? So what is this shloka saying? Is, remember, like we say, I mean, like some of you, not all of you attended. So if you haven't attended Drugdusha Viveka, no worries. But for those who attended Drugdusha Viveka sessions, how did we start? There is Sakshi. Sakshi is the witness of everything. That's how we started. And Sakshi means witness, witness of everything. So consciousness is Sakshi. And then later on, so what we said is that eyes are like objects are seen by eyes are seen by mind is seen by consciousness. And nobody else sees the consciousness. Consciousness is the final seer. So that is the seer, and everything else is seen. Okay, so that is where whatever is seen is drishya, and whoever is the final seer is druk, the seer. That's what we said. Then in the end, I don't know, like if how many of you attended and remembered this, is that there's nothing other than that Sakshi. If there's nothing other than Sakshi, what is there to see and who is seeing? If there's nothing other than Sakshi, what is there to see? Who is seeing? There's nothing to see. Hence, the word Sakshi is only Tatastha Lakshana. Tatastha Lakshana means an attribute that is given temporarily based on the situation. Now, I don't know, actually, like I cannot really see if how many of you are on video, okay? But among us, right? If you say, who is the one with the black sweater?
Manisha ji.
Okay, so the answer is Manisha ji. But does that define Manisha ji?
No.
No, right? But what happened is that in this Zoom call, okay, for others to understand who is Manisha, the one with the black sweater. Okay, of course, the name is also written on the Zoom. That's a different story, but okay. The one with the black sweater. But in the next session, she could be wearing a red color sweater. So then this definition, whoever is wearing black dress, a black sweater, is Manisha ji, is not valid. It is only valid temporarily for now based on current situation. That is called as Tatastha Lakshana. So now so as long as this call is there, that makes sense. But in bigger picture, that definition doesn't make sense. In the same way, as long as there's a duality is there in this world, okay? Duality meaning I am different from Jiva and Brahman are two different things. When that is there, what happened? It is not just two, right? It is multiplicity. Okay? There's a Jiva, me, and there's Jagat, which is everything other than me is Jagat. And Ishvara. So Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara, these three differences are there. These three components are there for us. Okay? To begin with, when we start. Now, what happened is, now Vedanta says, do vichara, and when you look at around us, for me, Rajiv ji is Jagat. Okay? I am Jiva, Rajiv ji is Jagat. Gopal is Jagat. But for Gopal, I am Jagat. Okay? For Rajiv ji, both of us are Jagat. Right? Everybody else is Jagat. So, see, the idea that, okay, there's a Jiva and Jagat are different is somewhat that doesn't hold too well. Okay? So, on inquiry, what you notice is that Jiva and Jagat are not two different things. Then we only have two. So we started with Jiva, Jagat, and Ishvara. Then with inquiry, we are thinking, we are coming to realization that Jiva and Jagat are one and the same. Then now we have two aspects, Jiva and Ishvara. Jiva meaning including Jagat. Okay. So between Jiva and Ishvara, again, when through the self-inquiry, as Bhagavan Raman Maharshi Ji said, if you remove the Vesha, upon dropping of the costumes, the Vastu is same. That is, when we remove all the Upadhis, what is same is that Brahma Tattva is same between those. Now, from Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, from there we came to two, Jiva and Ishvara, from there we came to one. You call it as Jiva, you call it as Ishvara, you call it as Brahman, it doesn't matter. Now there's only one. If this one is there, there's only one thing. What knowledge does this singular entity need? Okay. What knowledge does this singular entity need? There's nothing
Of
other
the
than itself.
nature of consciousness, maybe.
Okay. See, the thing is that there's nothing other than itself. When there's nothing other than it's, see, knowledge is like knowledge of something, right? So, for example, like, I did not know much about Upadesha Sara, so I'm uh, studying Upadesha Sara. So now I'm getting, through these studies, I'm getting the knowledge of Upadesha Sara. But there's only one thing, there's nothing other than me. When I'm in that stage, what is other than me for me to learn?
Nothing.
So now I should like, okay, so Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi Ji is somewhat like compact, okay, with his wordings. But now, even this one thing, right? It is akhanda. Akhanda means indivisible. You cannot cut it. You cannot cut it means is that, so for example, there's no such thing as a leg and hand. Okay, there's no head and tail. That kind of a differentiation is not there. Everything is ekarasa, meaning only one thing is there. Singular entity is there, completely singular. At that time, can you even fit some knowledge in there? Because to have knowledge, quote unquote knowledge, you need to have some mind and you need to have some intellect and you need to have some kind of a memories. All of those things are there. Okay. But there is no differentiation in this Brahman where there is no pockets like intellect or anything like that. So at that time, in that stage, is there any knowledge possible?
No.
There's no knowledge possible. Can there is ignorance possible?
No.
Ignorance is also not possible. Knowledge is also not possible. Okay. Now, typically, when I'm learning something, right, there's we call it as in Sanskrit, it is called as Triputi. Triputi means there is a threefold things are there. Okay. When I'm learning or whatever, like whenever I'm doing something, okay, me as subject, the one that I'm interacting with as an object and my interaction between these two. Okay. So, for example, I'm eating an apple. Subject, I, object, apple. Relationship between these two is eating. Okay. So, whenever there are two entities, this triputi is there. So, for example, if I'm learning, so knowledge, so I am the knower and this is the knowledge, and there is a means of acquiring this knowledge. This threefold division is there. Okay?
Mm.
So here, Jnata, Jnata is one who is learning. Okay? Jnanam is knowledge. Okay? What is the difference in this when you have this Atma Darshanam, which is same as Ishvara Darshanam? Where is the difference between Jnata, the knower, and Jnana, the knowledge?
There is no difference.
There is no difference. So that is what the second line says. Jnanamastikim jnatumantaram. It's a rhetorical question he is asking. Okay, what is the difference between jnanam and jnatu? Meaning, what is the difference between the knowledge and knower? Nothing. So, jnanavarjita jnanahina chit. So, this Chaitanya is devoid of knowledge and it is devoid of ajnana also, ignorance also. This is what this shloka is saying. That means at this level, now this is the highest level of realization that there is nothing other than me. Okay. When I say like there's nothing other than me, right? So please don't think as like it is extremely rude ahankara. No. Okay. At that level, there is no difference between me, you, or Bhagwan. Okay. In fact, even in what is this philosophy called? This school of Vedanta, the one that we study.
The singular entity, the ek.
Advaita.
Advaita Vedanta, right? Now,
Mhm.
Advaita again, see the word again here. Dvaita means
Dual.
More than two.
dual. So now, if Advaita is non-dual, now see the thing is that like they're not saying Eka Vedanta because even the term one will be meaningful when there is something other than one. So by saying non-dual, there are no two, okay? So there is no numbering system also. Okay, so that is why this specifically when we start our life, we start with Dvaita. Okay. But multiplicity and Dvaita. Dvaita, it doesn't just mean two, but multiplicity. Okay. So we start with multiplicity and then we go to that singularity. And once we go there, singularity, there's no singularity of, I mean, like there's no such thing as singularity because singularity means that there could be plurality. That option is totally gone. Okay. Any questions before we move to the next shloka?
So by this sloka, everything is dissolved into one, we can say, kind of Advaita.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go to the next shloka. Kim Swarupamityatma Darshane Avyaya Bhava Purna Chit Sukham. So there are first line, Kim, single word, Swarupam iti Atma Darshane. Four words, four components are there in this word. Swarupam iti Atma Darshane. Together becomes Swarupamityatma Darshane. Second line, Avyaya, Abhava, Apurna, Chit, Sukham. Five words together, one compound word. Avyaya, abhava apurna chit sukham. So it becomes avyaya bhava purna chit sukham. Okay, so one of you please repeat after me. Kim swarupame tyatmadarshane
किं स्वरूपमे आत्मदर्शने
अव्यया अव्यया भवा पूर्णचित् सुखम्.
अव्यया भवा आपूर्णचित् सुखम्.
So here again the same thought process is going on a little bit more. Okay, now this again there is a in case. Okay, so in case, okay, so the way to understand this shloka is in case if there is a question about line 1, then line 2 happens. Okay, line 2 describes. So if in case if line 1 is question, line 2 is answer. Okay, so that's how we can understand. Okay. Kim swarupam iti atmadarshane. Okay, so what is this swarupam? What is this atmadarshana? If you have that kind of a question, that atmadarshana is given as with 5 qualities or 5 attributes. Avyayam, abhava, apurnam, chit, and sukham. Again, we'll go through these 5 words. Avyayam means imperishable, okay, which cannot be modified. Okay, so that is avyayam. And abhava means, bhava means something that is becoming is bhava. Okay, so from bhava only bhuta comes. Bhuta is it? No, not ghosts, but panchamahabhutas, etc. Okay, so abhava means it is not subject to becoming. Okay. Now, for people in Chinmaya Mission, do you remember Gurupadka Stotra? Sorry, not Gurupadka. Gurudev's Padaka Puja, first shloka, or first
Yeah.
one? What is it?
Ananta samsara
No, 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 not Gurupadaka Stotra, sorry. When we do Gurupadaka Puja, we chant 108 names, Chinmaya Ashtotra, right?
Yes, yes.
The very first one is Om Ajaya Namaha.
Ajaya Nama, unborn.
So now, see, the thing is that this abhava is somewhat like Ajaya. Okay. Now, the thing is that Ajaya Namaha, when you think about it, is there for some, it is part of Ashtotra Shatanamali of Swami Chinmayanandaji, but this Ajaya Namaha comes as part of Ashtotaram for many other devatas. Okay, Ajaya Namaha. What do you mean by Ajaya Namaha when I have a picture of Swami Chinmayananda? So I'll give an explanation. So Chinmayananda ji was not born as Chinmayananda. He was born as Balakrishna Menon. So that is why he's Ajaya. Because Chinmayananda is not born. No, that's just a make-up story. No. So what is Ajaya? Aja means, ja means Janma. Aja means no Janma, unborn. Okay. So one who is unborn means that you're not referring to the physical body of this Mahatma. Rather, you're referring to that in the Atma Tattva of that Mahatma who is beyond that body. Okay. Who is able to give up the identity with that upadhi, that stula, sukshma, karna, shariras, and became, not even became, even that word became also is incorrect. Okay, realized oneness with everything. So when you're looking at from that aspect, nothing has ever happened. Okay, so nothing has been done. Okay, in Prakriti, some physical thing has come together and gone, but Atma has had no change. It was unaffected by any kind of creation, any kind of destruction, any kind of change. That is Abhava. And Purnam means complete. Apurnam is emphasizing the completeness. It is completely full. Okay. Other day, I mean, it has nothing to do with this one. I went to actually like a in-person satsang last Thursday, and then I was alone here in town, so I went alone. So someone asked me, "Hey, where is your wife?" I said, "I'm here. Is it not enough for you?" So she was smart. She said, "See, you're enough, but we also want her as well. It is like fulfill. Okay, you are full, but we also want full and fulfill."
Fulfilled.
So, so here, Apurna, when I'm thinking about this word Apurna, that came into my mind. So Apurna is completely full. Okay, so it is emphasizing that there is no scope for adding something into it or even removing anything from it. Okay, because in our childhood, we would say, right, what is infinity plus one? Infinity. Infinity minus one, infinity. Infinity divided by infinity is also infinity. So this is such a complete thing, here, but again, mathematical infinity is just a large number. Whereas here, when we say Vedantic infinity, this complete fullness is also complete perfection. And that is our Chit, Chaitanya, and that is our Sukham, Anandam. Okay? Now, Sukham, again, many people think that it is some kind of pleasure, some kind of happiness, etc. It is Sukham here is what is to understand this Sukham, we need to understand what is Dukkham. What is Dukkham? Sorrow. So, what is sorrow is some kind of a mental agitation which is caused because of a disturbance in Prakriti. So, it could be like Rajas, or it could be some tamas or some mixture, and even some sattvika also can cause dukkha. Now, when all these possible things that can create either happiness or sadness or any kind of feelings, those are taken out completely. What is there is total quietude. And that total quietude is what is this sukham. So this is what is going to be there when we try to understand what is this my swarupa. Okay, what is my swarupa? When we have this question, this is the answer. Okay, and this answer, when it will come only after Atma Darshana. Atma Darshana means realization. So after Atma Darshana, once you inquire, like you try to understand what is your swarupa, that is what our swarupa is. Avyaya, Abhava, Apurnam, Chit, and Sukham. So I'll pause here to see if any questions are there.
Many questions, but I don't know where to start.
Okay, go ahead.
No, Kim Swarupamiti, it's saying like, what is my real nature?
Mhm.
I understand from the class and listening over and over, understand these are the qualities, the avyaya, abhava, apurna. But so far, I have thought-based knowledge, not absolute knowledge of the self. From the previous, so what are the steps that are needed to be incorporated to make the knowledge absolute, that own that knowledge?
So that is said in shloka number 19. Ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvatah aipatatyaham nija vicharanam. So that nija vicharanam has to be done, and that question, who am I, must be asked, and you need to hold on to that question. And every time mind, and like, so mind comes with an answer. Who is giving this answer? This is mind. Okay, so that is not me. Throw away. Like that, if you keep on doing, that is what, that is how you would come to this stage.
So constant meditation.
The constant self-inquiry, yes.
Yep. Thank you.
I thought you had a lot of questions.
Yeah, we can keep going on the same subject.
Okay. So, okay, it is 8:35, so we'll close.
Yes.
Okay. But please do remember your questions. We'll discuss in the next session.
Sure. Thank you.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।